Michael Saylor created the Saylor Foundation because he had a very simple, very earnest, and very bold idea. Education should be free. Rapid changes in technology are making the distribution of information faster, easier, and cheaper. Increasingly, the distribution of and access to education can be universal.
We've reached an inflection point where it's now cheaper to learn to read on a tablet computer than it is to learn to read on paper. More people can access mobile networks in the world that can get access to running water. Right? So network access is greater. And as that happens, right, you've got this profound, disruptive, egalitarian, utilitarian tornado that's blowing through everything. If I can actually provide 12 million books for free to someone with an iPad, then that means I can provide 12 million books to someone for free in the middle of a jungle of Burma. If I can automate education or project it, then maybe people that don't live in the first world can get just as educated as people that do.
The question is no longer, does the need exist? The question is content. The question is form. The question is distribution. Countless providers of open content, from the humble teacher to the most venerable institutions, are opening the doors. Saylor is harnessing technology to deliver free education around the world, pushing the open education movement forward and creating greater access to these resources.
Saylor provides really new opportunities for students who might otherwise have been excluded from kind of the higher educational system. And so I think having the ability to log on from anywhere in the world with internet connection and look at resources that are vetted by experts, that are assembled by experts, and that are trustworthy is really just an ideal way for these students to gain that level of education that they might otherwise be excluded from.
Access to the internet is outpacing access to higher education in the United States and abroad. But would-be students shouldn't have to drink from the fire hose of free information. We've called upon college educators, discipline experts, to help us discover, vet, and organize the very best of what's around. Our contribution is, in a word, design, the transformative marriage of form and content. We unite superb learning materials with well-wrought courses. The product is a portal to substantive, scaffolded, asynchronous education for a few hours, a few years, or a lifetime. Let's take a closer look at how Saylor is curating, developing, and distributing free education. We've developed the most popular majors into 12 complete areas of study and a general education program. Let's consider the history major.
The history major within the Saylor curriculum is similar in some ways, but also differs in some ways from your typical university or college curriculum. And where it's similar, of course, is that each course replicates roughly a 15-week semester course that you would have at a college or university. The materials are very similar, readings as well as sort of analytical materials, and that allows the student to achieve that same level of understanding that they would in a typical college or university classroom. Where we differ too is that we offer a diverse range of courses that might not typically be taught at a university. It's certainly not every semester. We offer some courses that we're really excited to put together, but that will be courses that a professor might teach perhaps once in 4 years. And so the way we've structured it is that we have these unique courses that are always on, and they're always available to anyone who has access to the website.
Our consulting professors search for and vet open education materials from various content creators in the higher ed landscape, matching content and form to build a dynamic learning environment for students. To see how all these fantastic OER materials are connected and incorporated into the Saylor structure, let's examine a course, say History 212. Clicking on its link brings up a page with a short introduction. Just below that, the student will find the course overview, everything he or she needs to read, watch, listen to, click on, and learn. We've listed time advisories for each unit to let students know how long it should take them to work through the materials. We also list learning outcomes to highlight specific lessons students can take away by successfully completing a course. The time advisories and learning outcomes are designed to help students navigate the asynchronous learning environment. Furthermore, our materials are placed in sequence. Clicking the first resource uncovers a link to the material and some brief instructions. When finished, the student can move on to the next resource, working at his or her preferred pace. Our consulting professors work hard to find high-quality open educational resources from a variety of providers. When they don't find something that meets our needs or standards, we find high-quality copyrighted material available freely on the internet. Then our permissions team reaches out to copyright holders to simply ask for the rights to host or relicense those resources, such as this presentation on the history of slave trade routes. We now host over 1,300 high-quality educational resources from this process. While we first look to existing OER materials and are pleased with the positive response to our permissions initiative, we also have examples of open education content created specifically for Saylor.org by our consulting professors.
In History 212, American Civil War to the Present, I developed a series of lectures that complemented the reading materials from each unit of the course. And I used the resources such as recording tools, Microsoft Paint, a drawing pad to create these online Blackboard lectures. And these lectures are tools that are, as I said, complement the readings for each unit and give that student a broader, more engaging experience of having a professor sort of help analyze or help explain kind of the highlights of the materials.
In addition to these types of lectures, which are distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution or CC BY license, in a number of our courses, our consulting professors have created original OER materials such as readings, assignments, and assessments to help the students measure progress along the way. Each course culminates with a final exam administered through the open source learning management system Moodle, where the student can obtain a certificate of successful completion and unlock badges to document accomplishments. We believe that our courseware is truly high quality, but how can we be so sure? It's all very well to ask a highly qualified professor to build a course and select its resources, but we're taking an extra step and have committed to engaging additional consultants in peer reviewing all of our courses to ensure that we're doing the very best we can.
When we are peer reviewing a course, the first thing we look for is accuracy. We want to make sure that when we send a student to a website, we want to make sure that everything on that website is right, because the internet is a blackboard that when you put something on it, it never goes away. So if you're going to do it, the Saylor Foundation always wants to make sure that it's done right.
So having experience designing courses, not only at Saylor, but also at a traditional accredited institution, the best part of that is that it's not only just on you, but eventually your courses at Saylor get peer reviewed, which is something I never had the opportunity to have at a traditional accredited institution. So at Saylor, now you have people that do teach at other universities and institutions looking at what you're doing and commenting and giving you feedback. So in some ways, it's almost even a better process.
Now that we've explained how we develop our courses and looked at some ways students can utilize the resources on Saylor.org, we'd like to share a little about some new projects, student e-portfolios, and the media library. It can be difficult for self-guided students to manage their learning and demonstrate progress to others, as much for one course as for 100. The ePortfolio aims to solve that problem simply and elegantly. Students can browse our entire course catalog, enroll in individual courses, and declare a major if they so choose. From their My Portfolio page, students can manage their transcript, upload work samples, and network with other learners around the world. Students will be able to review completed and ongoing courses, and those completing a major will also see any additional required courses determined by our consulting professors, providing a quick visual way to track progress. The ePortfolio will be a great tool for making self-directed learning a more social, more collaborative effort. But more than this, it allows students to describe their learning to the world outside of Saylor.org. Students can share their resume, work samples, transcripts, and badges with friends, schools, and employers via social networking or upon request. While portfolios will allow students to stay on top of their course progress and grades, our forthcoming media library will organize every resource from our courseware into a fully searchable, robust database, open to the whole world. The future is bright for open education, which we think translates to a bright future for hungry learners. The question is, how far can we go?
OER can go really as far as people's imaginations. I think education is absolutely a right. I think that everyone can learn, everyone does learn to whatever extent they're capable, and I think the more and more you make it accessible to people, the more they'll learn and the better lives they'll have.
We agree the sky is the limit. We look forward to working with the OER community to help further connect the dots and pave the way for students to obtain quality education at zero cost.